Imagine a man so dangerous that he was sentenced to 450 years in prison. A very manipulative and sinister individual who was a huge threat to the outside world and even a menace behind bars. This is the story of Nikko Jenkins, one of the scariest inmates who had ever lived. Years ago, Nikko went viral all over the internet for his intimidating look and gained an online popularity and reputation of killing whosoever looks at him. But how much of this is actually true? That's the question we are asking. And what crazy things has he done to be locked away for 450 years? Nikko Jenkins has always had a troubled life. From a young age, he was a witness and victim of many traumatic experiences. To better understand somebody's attitude and behavior, sometimes there's a need to look into their family background. This is true about Nikko Jenkins. Nikko's lineage has caused havoc for almost half a generation, and needless to say, 7 of his close family members, like his mother, father, 3 sisters, uncle, and cousin, are all felons. This family bloodline has had a major impact in Nikko's daily life. Nikko Jenkins was born in Colorado to parents David and Loretta Jenkins. He spent much of his life prior to the murders in the criminal justice system, which he first entered at the age of 7 after bringing a loaded .25 caliber handgun to his elementary school. Well, at the age of 11, Nikko Jenkins was kicked out of a group home for repetitive violence and stopped regularly attending school. By the age of 13, he had committed multiple assaults, including 1 knife assault. Well, this guy is something else. I could remember at the age of 13, I never knew how to cut watermelon. Well, moving on. Nikko Jenkins was sent to prison in 2003 for 2 armed carjackings after spending time in the youth detention facility. While incarcerated, he was charged twice, once for his part in the 2006 prison riot, as well as for assaulting a prison guard while on the furlough for his grandmother's funeral. But the decision of the judge who presided over Nikko Jenkins' case would change the whole story around and inflict more pains to many people and family. Instead of the sentences to run consecutively, the court ordered them to run concurrently, which means he had no additional time and only spent his 10.5 years in prison. Fast forward to 2013, he was finally released, and instead of changing for the better, Nikko became the devil himself by going on an absolute killing spree. Well, a lot of this would have been managed if the judge never implemented the sentences the way he did. About 5 a.m. on the morning of August 11th, 2013, a patrol officer discovered 2 bodies in a white Ford pickup truck parked near a city swimming pool at 18th Street in Spring Lake Park. Both Juan Oriba Pena and George C. Jigada Reyes had been shot in the head and their pockets torn inside out. The random double murder began Nikko Jenkins' killing spree less than 10 days after he was released from prison on July 30th. On August 19th, exactly 8 days after Nikko Jenkins' first killing, around 7 a.m., the body of Curtis Bradford was found outside a detached garage at 18th Clark Street by a man who was returning from home after a night shift at a convenience store. Investigators arrived there to find 2 bullet wounds in Bradford's back. It was later revealed that Bradford and Jenkins had posed for a Facebook photo posted the day before. Nikko Jenkins' 4th and final victim, Andreas Koga, was discovered on August 21st at about 2:30 a.m. by a deputy sheriff responding to a short-fired call. Her body was found lying in the road at 168th and 4th Streets with multiple bullet wounds. Koga had been returning home after a bartending shift near 178th and Pacific Street. Surveillance footage showed her locking up the Deja Vu lounge at 1:48 a.m. At 6:30 that evening, Koga's gold 2012 Chevrolet Traverse SUV was found abandoned 12 miles away in an alley at 43rd and Charles Street. Later that week, a news conference was held by Douglas County Sheriff Tim Donny, in which he stated that investigators believe that the SUV had been abandoned roughly 2.5 hours after being stolen, and that a feeble attempt had been made at setting the car's interior ablaze. And once again, a member of his family was involved. Wow, I must say this guy's family is something else. This time, it was his uncle, Warren Lovren. So we have his sisters, cousin, and now the uncle who assisted him with the murder. But there was actually one more person, his mother, Lauren Jenkins. She was the one who bought him the ammo in the first place and knew about everything that happened. On August 30th, 2013, Jenkins was arrested on an unrelated terrorist threat charge. By then, evidence against him had mounted. Investigators had the image of a female associate on surveillance footage at a local gun outlet buying the kind of distinctive ammunition that had been used to commit the killings. Additional footage had been pulled from cameras along the route to Kogar's abandoned SUV.
Do you not realize that? I got Nikko Jenkins. I got you.
What do you mean you got me?
I got your DNA at the murder scene. I got your DNA in the car.
On the evening of September 3rd, Jenkins confessed to all four murders during a rambling 8-hour interview, attributing the fact as to the sacrifice to Apophis, which is an Egyptian god. He was charged with 4 counts of murder following the confession. In a handwritten letter dated November 3rd, 2013, submitted to the Omaha World Herald, prosecutors and a judge, Nikko Jenkins said he wished to plead guilty to all counts in the 4 killings and that he would protect Apophis' kingdom with animalistic savage brutality. On February 19, 2014, Nikko Jenkins filed a federal lawsuit seeking $24.5 million from the state of Nebraska for wrongfully releasing him from prison, stating that his claims of hearing voices from Apophis were repeatedly ignored. In the 6-page handwritten filing, he stated that being kept in a solitary confinement augmented his schizophrenia. He blames correction officers for the 4 killings. Nikko Jenkins claimed that his problems were caused by mental illness and that he had schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. So the court were trying to pass a death sentence onto Nikko Jenkins, but while in prison, he got his hands on a razor and carved Satan in his forehead, then split his tongue into halves to resemble a snake. But the most insane thing he did was using a guard's badge to destroy his... he was trying to make his look like a serpent. This action raised eyebrows and made him look like he was insane, because no man in his right mind would do something like that. The judge questioned the wardens at the prison about how Jenkins even got the razor in the first place. The warden stated that he didn't know how he got them and said he couldn't guarantee it won't happen again. Well, it's a known fact that inmates usually smuggle things into prison and have access to a lot of things they shouldn't have. But you are telling me that they could not have stopped a man that was in solitary confinement for 23 hours of a day while he was being checked upon every 15 minutes by a guard and had a camera placed in his cell, not to mention he wasn't allowed to even mingle with other prisoners. On one of the occasions, he managed to grab a set of 7 handcuff keys and swallow them. Well, while looking at this guy, we would be poised to assume that the justice system and the health system has failed him. But we have to pull a reverse no card here, because you see, after being evaluated by multiple state psychiatrists, they all came to a conclusion that Nikko was just faking his mental problems. Despite his barbaric behavior, they believed that he was extremely cunning and knew very well that if he had deemed insane and incompetent, then he would get away with his death penalties and he would be placed in a psycho ward instead. It's understood that Nikko Jenkins was practically fighting for his life at this point, and due to the circumstances, the court cases were delayed and there was a period of time it looked like Nikko was about to escape from his ultimate punishment. After being declared competent to stand trial, the proceedings against Nikko Jenkins commenced. In May 2017, Jenkins was sentenced to death by a 3-judge panel. He was also sentenced to 450 years in prison on weapons charges connected with the murders.
Finds that the death penalty is appropriate, should be, and is hereby given for each of the 4 murders by the defendant.
Wow, it was finally official. After so many years of terror, one of the worst cold-blooded criminal was getting what he truly deserved. So I know this video was actually heavy and a very long one, but let me know your thoughts about Nikko Jenkins and everything he did. And also, if you actually enjoyed the video, please do not forget to click on the like button so that this video has to go out to many persons out there. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you find it interesting, as you get more of this content coming your way in coming days. Do take care of yourself and have a splendid week ahead. Bye bye.